Hey, this is David Perdue from MyNAMS.com and the Novice to Advanced Marketing System, and this is the Insiders Group. One of the things that we've been doing lately is talking to some of our most active insiders, people who are completing challenges and really working at applying the stuff that we teach into their businesses and finding out how it's really impacting their businesses some. So today we have Gala Gorman, Dr. Gala Gorman, who has been with us a long time. How long have you been with us now, Gala?
Since the beginning of time for the Insiders.
Since the beginning of the Insiders Group?
Yes, when the dinosaurs roared.
Okay, good, good. So Gala, you've been around a long time and you've seen a lot of changes in the Insiders Group, and it continues to get more and more evolved as we do these challenges each month. And the challenges really started kind of as an accident. And we found that it worked so well that we wanted to incorporate those on a monthly basis. So we came up with 12 monthly challenges, and they are 30-day challenges, and now we are doing daily steps for everybody in the challenges so that they can complete something small each day that builds to a big tactic or strategy, and accomplishing and kind of mastering that by the end of that 30 days. So for example, we've done content challenges, outsourcing challenges, business operations, traffic generation, YouTube marketing, list building twice, affiliate marketing, those kind of things. So you've done a bunch of these, and I wanted to get your perspective today on that. But first I want you to talk to people about who you are and what your business is and how you're using it online.
Right. So my name is Dr. Gala Gorman, and the business that we're primarily focused on with the internet marketing activities that NAMS supports us with is a website that's called recoveryes.com, and we focus on addiction recovery support. And so it's a very different niche, and I think it's kind of a great example of how NAMS is not specific to any specific niche or to any specific person just trying to do internet marketing. For me, everything we need to be focused on applies. I'm just not particularly trying to sell NAMS products to people that would potentially be on my list. So that piece maybe doesn't apply, but otherwise everything about NAMS fits any niche, and I'm sure when you've talked to some of the other insiders that's been brought up as well. So so yeah, we've been working on it for a couple of years now. My husband is a therapist, and he is just about getting to the point where he's ready to leave his day job, and then we've got some new services and programs that we're going to be launching that require a little more human bandwidth than I've had at my disposal, with it just being me running all the different things that we do. So
that's cool. So one of the things you've mentioned that actually a lot of people have not mentioned, and I think it's really worth talking about more, is that we don't focus on the make money online market at all. We focus on businesses who are already out there with established businesses, or people who want to get into specific niches that they're passionate about, or that are more along the lines of services, or you have had this business for a while before you came into NAMS, so what you're really looking for is how to improve that online channel. And that's what we are talking about with folks, particularly in the NAMS system. I think that's one of the things that I love most, is that it's not the make money online niche for anybody.
Well, the interesting thing when you were just saying that, I was reminded that so you renamed NAMS, and it now stands for the Novice to Advanced Marketing System. And the marketing system really has components for online, offline, like multi-channel marketing. And so I think for any business, even if you've got a dry cleaners in a strip mall, you should have some sort of internet presence, maybe social media presence, that kind of thing. And so so what NAMS, the support NAMS provides, is going to apply regardless, whether you really think you're primarily doing business on the internet or you've got a bricks and mortar local business and you are just trying to ramp that up.
So talk to business and where they can find you and how long you've had that business.
So it's at www.recoveryes.com. And we've been working on this now for about 4 years. We're just in the final stages of launching a new program that will provide monitoring for people that, one of the things with the NAMS system, it ties in really beautifully because accountability is so important. You know,
Right.
it's fascinating because addiction programs fail 90% of the time. And that might sound like unbelievable statistics, but it's true. You know, the treatment centers actually kind of count on you going back out and relapsing and having to come back, you know, and
Sure.
they trade you around to different treatment centers until you finally kind of get it. Something snaps at some point and you're like, oh God, this is like a crazy way of life. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so, so it's fascinating though. Professionals, for example, if you've got a professional license, an attorney, a doctor, a nurse, that kind of thing, airline pilot, if you've had some sort of problem and you've been forced into a treatment program, they will require that you be monitored at least for a year on completion of that program. And people that go through that sort of program relapse only 10%. I mean, it's exactly the opposite. And the only difference really is the accountability, right? I mean, obviously the consequences, but everybody's got consequences.
Right.
It's the accountability and that like sort of micromanagement of the process. So what we're doing is developing a monitoring program that people will be able to tap into, certainly if they were coming out of a treatment program, but even if maybe they kind of think they could do it on their own if they had some accountability and more support and better education, like to really understand what is it I'm missing here, because I know I'm a smart person, you know I'm motivated and goal oriented. Why can't I get rise above this problem? And they're just missing a few key understandings about how it works, and then that accountability that, you know, life throws us challenges constantly, and for somebody who's used to using addiction as a coping mechanism, when you have a bad day, or especially, you know, a string of bad days, it's just easy to say, oh, screw it, I'm just going to do what I know to do to feel better, right? Even if you know, like, if I feel better right now, I'm going to feel like crap like
Right.
2 hours from now, you know, but you do it anyway.
So you know, you're talking about this, and I'm loving it because it actually fits right in with the way we've built NAMS.
It does. It's perfect. Yeah.
The parallel is unbelievable because the reason we do the challenges is for the accountability each month, because people get shoved from one training program to the next without any real implementation or accountability as they go through that. And the reason we've done the 30-day challenges is so that people can, and it's really an honor system, so you can complete it or not, it's up to you, but you can actually find a lot of support in the Insiders group, which is a private Facebook group, for people who are going through the same thing at the same time at different levels, and you can learn from each other in there. And that's one of the things that I love about what we're doing. And I love the analogy of addiction because it really is exactly the same thing, because it is about that accountability and working on something with somebody until the light bulb goes on. And that's what happens.
So it's fascinating because last month's challenge, I condensed the challenge into a short period of time there at the end of the month. But it was fascinating because I knew I wanted to work on the challenge for that month. And I also had this other project that I was working on. And so as I got into working on the material for the challenge, it tied into the project I was working on, and I actually accomplished way more tying it into the challenge than I would have if I would have just been doing it just
right.
You know, either my project or the challenge by itself. And so that, I think, is a great understanding, is that the challenge, we take the challenge and then we look at our resources and we say, what could we work on that's inside the theme of this month's challenge, and use the, all those components to help us get much more done than we would if we were just doing it on our own, hanging out there in La La Land.
Yeah, and see, and that's the way it's supposed to work. Because if you come in with a project that you're working on or a business that you're working on, by the end of the 12 challenges, you should really have that thing rocking and rolling, because we go through all of the essential processes and strategies that you need to have to be successful online. So, that's exactly the way that should work. You should always try to incorporate that into what you are already working on, and the challenge just gives you that boost to go through. Because once you've learned the steps and the process that goes into that month, that's not something you stop doing. It's something that you continue adding to your bailiwick, or you continue adding to your process each month, or you continue to outsource to other people to do for you. And we talk a lot about that as well. So,
Right.
so what would you say is the biggest benefit to you for being in NAMS, in the Insiders Group?
So for me, it is the accountability, definitely. I think these challenges have been great, but more than that, I work out of the house. I owned a CPA firm for a lot of years, and I sold that in 1997 because I was so tired of dealing with all the people mess that you deal with when you own a business with a lot of employees and everything. I think we're migrating back towards that. I'm dipping my toe in the water, but yeah. I work out of the house. I am, by myself most of the time, and it's just nice to have a community of like-minded people to plug into. And it's great that we have the live workshops a couple of times a year, because we get to put faces with names, and yep. And so that really helps support it. But the Insiders Club keeps us plugged in to that group of people 12 months out of the year. And then even if you can't make a live workshop, you still feel like you're not totally missing it. You're not totally isolated, because yep. You're still kind of plugged in.
So for you, it's the community is what you're talking about.
Definitely. I mean, we can buy all sorts of training materials, and certainly, just yesterday I was looking for something, and I went and searched in the NAMS back office and found the video that I was looking for, and so there's endless amount of training materials. It's there when you need it.
Sure.
But I know for myself, I have way more training materials than I could hope to consume.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah, so it's the community for me, and that feeling like we're kind of all in this together.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you doing this today, and that was great information from you. And I love the accountability addiction analogy. So that was great, and I thank you so much for coming to do this. And I always look forward to seeing you at the workshop. You're a staple there. So and in the Insiders Group too. So thank you so much, Gala. I really do appreciate it.
You are quite welcome. Appreciate all you do for us as well, David.
You bet. Thanks.
Bye bye.